And before you go, don't forget to support the channel, hit like, press subscribe, and join the Kindness Journey Hub family. Together, let's spread more kindness, more compassion, and more real stories that remind us we're not alone. They laughed at the obese girl at the wedding. Until the single dad stepped forward, the laughter started softly at first, little whispers hidden behind manicured fingers, followed by snickers spreading like wildfire across the decorated ballroom. And in the center of it all stood Alina, clutching the edges of her lavender dress so tightly that her knuckles turned white. She hadn't expected to become the evening's entertainment, not after spending months gathering courage to attend her cousin's wedding, not after convincing herself that she deserved to feel beautiful, just once. But there she was, a trembling girl in a dress she wished she'd never worn. 1,000 eyes on her. 100 mouths chuckling at the way her heels wobbled on the marble floor. And then, just when she thought the humiliation couldn't burn hotter, someone's voice cut through the music. Look at her. The floor might crack. A wave of laughter erupted. Alina froze, her chest tightened. Her throat closed. Her vision blurred. She wanted to disappear. To vanish from the world. To melt into the shadows between the golden curtains of the ballroom. And that's when she saw him across the hall, a man with warm brown eyes, a little girl beside him holding his hand. They both stared at Alina, not with mockery, not with judgment, but with something she hadn't seen in years, kindness. The man stepped forward. Chapter 1. Alina's silent battles. Alina had always been the big girl in every room. As a child. As a teenager. As an adult. No matter how talented she was, how intelligent, how compassionate, people saw her body before they saw her. Her aunt had once said, "A girl with a body like yours should dress to hide, not to stand out." At school, boys tossed notes at her, "You'll break the chair if you sit here. Earthquake incoming." At home, relatives whispered suggestions about dieting, exercising, or fixing herself. So Alina learned to shrink emotionally, even though she physically couldn't shrink the way society wanted to be. By the time her cousin's wedding arrived, she had accepted one painful truth: some people will never see past her weight. But her little cousin Zara insisted she come. "You're my favorite cousin. I want you there. Please, API." So Alina agreed, painting a brave smile over the cracks in her heart. She bought a lavender dress because someone once told her lavender made her look soft and gentle. She wore makeup even though her hands shook doing it. She styled her hair, hoping for once to feel like she belonged. But when she walked into that ballroom, the whispers returned, the stares, the giggles, old wounds reopened, fresh, deep, stinging. And then the joke about the floor shook her to her core. She thought she would collapse until the man stepped forward. Chapter 2. The single dad. His name was Ryan. 33, tall, gentle, widowed. And beside him stood his 7-year-old daughter, Mira, wearing a tiny peach-colored frock and holding a bouquet she had taken from the decoration table. This wedding was the first event Ryan had brought Mira to since losing his wife 3 years earlier. He wanted Mira to feel the world was still safe, still warm, still full of good people. But tonight, Mira tugged at Ryan's sleeve with worry. "Baba, are they bullying that girl?" Ryan followed her gaze, and saw Alina standing alone, trembling, trying so hard not to cry. He recognized the look. He had seen it in Myra's eyes after she lost her mother, a look of breaking. Silently, without hesitation, Ryan knelt to his daughter. "Mira, sweetheart, some people laugh because they don't understand how beautiful someone truly is. Then we should help her, Baba," Mira said softly. And that was it. That was enough. Ryan stood up. He squeezed his daughter's hand, and together, they walked across the ballroom, straight toward Alina. The laughter grew louder as more people noticed Ryan approaching the trembling girl. Some snickered louder, some whispered assumptions, some rolled their eyes, but Ryan ignored them all. He stopped right in front of Alina and said, loudly enough for the hall to hear, "Hi. I'm Ryan. You look beautiful tonight." Silence fell. Alina blinked rapidly, unsure if she heard right. Beautiful? Was he mocking her too? Before she could respond, small fingers wrapped around her hand. Mira looked up with shining eyes. "Api, will you dance with us? Baba says good people deserve to shine." Alina's throat tightened. Her voice barely escaped as a whisper. I can't dance." Ryan smiled softly. "Then we'll just sway. No steps. No rules. Alina looked around, the eyes, the whispers, the judgmental smirks, but then she saw Myra's innocent grin and Ryan's steady, reassuring expression. Her heart pounded, her courage wavered, but for once, she wanted to choose herself. Okay, she whispered, and Ryan gently placed a hand on her back, guiding her toward the dance floor. The music shifted into a slow melody. People stared, phones came out, some snickered again. Some whispered insults, but as Alina's trembling hand rested in Ryan's, something magical happened. She felt safe in a way she hadn't felt in years. Ryan didn't look away. He didn't flinch. He didn't treat her like a spectacle. He treated her like a human being, like someone worthy, like someone special. And then, slowly, Alina began to smile. For the first time that evening, she actually smiled. Mira danced beside them, her giggles echoing across the hall. A few kind guests joined them. One by one, the cruel whispers faded, the laughter died. People shifted uncomfortably, realizing the cruelty they had fed into. By the end of the song, no one was laughing at Alina. They were staring in stunned silence, because this girl they mocked, she was glowing. When the song ended, Alina felt lighter, not physically, but emotionally. Thank you, she whispered. Ryan smiled warmly. Don't thank me. You deserved that moment. Mira added, you're my favorite part of the wedding. Alina laughed softly, wiping her tears, but just then, her aunt approached with disapproval in every wrinkle of her face. Alina, don't embarrass the family. Look at everyone staring. Before Alina could shrink back again, Ryan stepped forward. Ma'am, he said calmly, what's embarrassing is adults allowing bullying at such a beautiful event. The aunt froze, stunned. Ryan continued, your niece is strong, brave, and honestly, she carries herself with more grace than most people here. Alina felt her heart stop. No one had ever defended her like that. Her aunt walked away, speechless, and Alina felt something she rarely experienced, respect. Throughout the night, Ryan and Mira stayed near Alina. They ate dinner together, laughed at silly jokes, and shared stories. Mira talked about school, Alina talked about her art, Ryan talked about how hard single parenthood had been. For the first time in years, Alina felt seen, not because of her weight, but because of her soul. Ryan admired her gentleness, her vulnerability, her endurance despite years of cruelty. People don't know how amazingly strong you are, he said. Alina's eyes filled again. Ryan, I've never felt this safe. And you deserve to feel that every day, he replied softly. As the wedding neared its end, Alina stepped outside for fresh air. She watched the lights flicker in the garden. She took a deep breath, feeling a strange warmth inside. Footsteps approached. Ryan, leaving already? He asked gently. I needed a moment, she admitted. Tonight was a lot. You handled it with grace. I'm proud of you. Those words, I'm proud of you. She had waited her whole life to hear that. Suddenly, she broke. Tears ran down her cheeks, but these weren't tears of sadness, they were release, freedom, healing. Ryan stepped closer. Alina, you are beautiful. Not in spite of your size. Not despite anything. Just beautiful. Her breath trembled, her heart raced. For so long, she whispered, I thought beauty wasn't meant for people like me. Ryan shook his head softly. No. Beauty belongs to those who carry kindness, resilience, and heart. You have all three. She looked up into his eyes, warm, safe, honest, and I'd like to know you better, Ryan said gently. If you'd let me. Alina placed a hand on her chest. Why me? She whispered. Because, Ryan answered, you're the only person here who made the whole room stop, without even trying. By the time the wedding ended, everyone had witnessed something unforgettable. A girl they mocked, a girl they belittled, a girl they judged, had walked out of the ballroom with her head held high, with a new friend by her side, and with hope blooming in her heart again. Later, many guests confessed their shame. Some apologized, some learned, some changed, because sometimes, all it takes is one brave person to stand up against cruelty. One act of kindness. One moment of courage, and sometimes, that moment changes a life forever. Final message of the story: never underestimate the power of kindness, never judge someone for their appearance, and never let society decide your worth. Sometimes, the people who shine the brightest are the ones the world tried hardest to dim.